Well, and the whole what I'm thinking for the agenda here is really a couple pieces of this. Like Lazar, hearing your story, like what you've been through, where you're at now, how's the company you're with? Because the fear that some guys have is that they're going to come with a company and they're going to kind of be a slave to a company that pays them low wages and is just a bad place to work. And there's concerns. People want to know that what they're coming to, and so getting your opinion on how things are going with the company and everything else would go a long ways to help other people feel more confident too. So, Vitali, Boyan, anything else additional that you kind of want to dive into, or?
We're gonna ask you for whole process how it's going to, like you spoke on previous video. So I have a couple of questions later for you after
Okay.
Lazar finished. Okay.
Sure.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
perfect.
I'm happy Lazar working almost for 9 months for the company, and we spoke about last week. And he is willing to record his voice in native language so we can spread for more people. And maybe Lazar, you can speak very soon in Ukrainian as well. Will be great.
Yeah. So then you can ask the questions, Vitali, because I won't know what you're saying. But like, explain it and feel free. We did this in another video where we spoke in English and then we recapped it in Russian too. So like you could, if you want to do both answers in both languages, that would be. We've done that in the past too. So, Lazar, starting off, I want to thank you for joining us today so that we can actually give other people some information on what this program is and what the experience has been. And so we appreciate you taking the time and pulling over and doing that. Do you want to open up first on like, how did you get to the U.S.? What kind of status were you in, and what is going on now?
I just come in US on J1 like an exchange for student. In 2019, I just work like a tent installer, and after that, after my program, I decide to stay, and I just stay in the United States.
So you came over on a J program, and then
Yeah.
and you were allowed to stay in the U.S. legally.
I was legally until my visa was legal, and after that, when my visa it's expired, I supposed to do get something else to be figure out, to be just like a legal, just maintain the status,
So, Chad, we working actually with many J1 students here in Seattle. We have 2 sponsor agencies in Seattle. It's a work and travel program. When a student in a second or third course, they come for 3 months working 3 shifts, and after they going to spend money in casino in Las Vegas. So if they call us, say, hey, come to Washington State, get first of all DOT test, right? Like for newborn. We have a medical clinic. Get Washington State license, open LLC company, and after, if you want to stay legally in US, let's turn to B2 visa, a visitor visa, or F1 visa, which is a student visa. But of course, lots of jokers in your community, like Lazar, they not listen me, they listen somebody in Miami.
Yeah. So now, Lazar, I think the big question that a lot of people will have is because they're wondering about the employers and about the companies they're going to work for. And so, can you talk to me? You've changed over to another company to go through this process for the green card through the EB visa. Talk about the company. What has been your experience? Has it been a good experience so far? Have you had problems, issues? Let us know what's going on.
So far, I don't have some issue. I'm grateful with the company. I'm happy to start the program with the company. One of my friends just accidentally was speaking up each other about the program and how the Vitali post the things, and somehow just connect me with Vitali. And I just couple of the months after that, when I spoke with Vitali, I just joined the Voyager company. I was being a Voyager. We was been doing like a safety orientation, something like that. It was been Thursday or Friday, and they expect me to start immediately, but I was go home, and I was being started on December 1st, Monday. I was come back and get the truck and start over the road. So far, for now, it's good. I like it. It's a good opportunity. The company what doing for us, it's in good advance for us, and for the company in the back, it's good.
Yeah. How is so talk a little bit about the company more as far as the equipment that they provide. Is it good trucks? How's the pay? Talk about that part of it.
As far as the truck, how I get the truck, it's amazing. Just regular maintenance on the truck. The truck never broke down on the road. Everything okay. About the pay statement, it depends how many miles you're gonna drive per week, where you're gonna do reset or you're gonna drive on recap, independence, what you're gonna do, how you're gonna plan your weekend. You wanna go home, you wanna stay more on the road, everything it's independence, because when we speaking about the paycheck, here is a W2 form. On the W2 form, there is a lot tax, what we're not gonna see it at the end, you know, just work, and at the end you see the progress, you see the things at the end.
Mhm.
And for this job specifically, now I know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask you for everybody else that's listening. Like, did you have to relocate? Because Voyager's in Michigan, so did you relocate, or how are you handling that piece?
I mean, I'm from Chicago. I don't have some type of problem about that. I mean, it's good to I relocated. I don't need to travel like a 4 or 5 hours to let's say go home for the weekend or something like that. It's good to be in Michigan. You're just gonna park the truck at the yard, and because when I go every time in Chicago, I need to find a parking. I need call the company to pay me a parking, or either way I need to pay, but the company need to reimburse me after that. It's sometimes in the traffic, it's not so it's great thing to someone be in Michigan, but independence, how someone want to live.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then so far, just with the legal process and everything, I know we're still early on in the whole process because it's going to take a few years to get through the whole EB process for you. But do you feel like you know what's going on with immigration and what has to be done? How's been the explanation on what does it take to get your green card? Is everything understandable?
I mean, most of the stuff I already learning.
Do.
I'm learning
Sure.
already on the internet, but most of the things I know how it's going. It's
Yeah.
it's long process, but it's worth it sometimes.
Yeah. Vitaly, anything that you would add on to there?
Yes, we missing Lazar. Did you apply for asylum yourself or somebody help it to you? Please explain, because many people struggling with in my community as well. The Slavic community, like number 4 in state of Washington, and they come to us same as you by free advertise, we call, from friends. And after we look in a case, and we found many pieces which is hard to get in a place. So would you please expand for other people who will listen and watch, who helped to apply asylum, and what is the ground of asylum? Why you decide to overstay your J1 visa, not to apply for B2 visa, visitor, or F1 visa as a student? And many people in your community doing this, right? Why you decide to overstay and later apply for asylum?
I mean, I made it myself, that choice. Everyone, like you say previous, everyone has like many jokers here, what to decide to do, but in that scenario, I just decide to do that one for myself. And there has been some different people who helped me about the case. It's been like those people. It's been like a group of people who helped me about that, and I just apply for that.
So you are fear back to your country. You have a ground. Somebody will kill you because asylum has 6 different pieces to apply for. Like in our state of Washington, it was a judge overruled back in August 2018, who allowed even you overstay 1 year in our Northwest region, you still can apply for asylum if your personal beliefs or statements or some personal changes or the country report will be changed, right? So in your situation, you was overstay a little bit, but not a year, correct? Since you came in US.
Since I come in US, if I'm calculated right, I'm gonna calculate, let's say 7.5 months, something like that, after when my visa expired.
Okay, but it was in period of first year, correct?
Yes.
Very good, because in your region, right, you must to follow for a law for asylum, which many people doesn't know, and consultant not educate your community, right? I try to help your community, and I'm a member of Miami Serbians already, right? I try to help. I'm not speak Serbian or Macedonian, but I try to give education to your community free of charge, right? And I'm saying, look, if you're afraid, and you can apply for asylum, because many people in your community, they would like to get 5 years work authorization card, right? And after going to CDL school, and of course EB-3 visa. And I get so much phone calls specifically from Chicago area. So we would like to be boy and educate your community, and you can help as well. If you can do couple posts on Facebook, in Macedonian Facebook or Serbian Facebook, and say, listen, people who has experience, not listen jokers, please. In this case, will be easier to help your community to receive EB-3 visa in future.
Right.
This is my ask. And I'm working with my Slavic community for 17 years. And we are same from Vikings, you know it.
Same guys.
Same guys.
Right.
Yeah, and it does matter. And I just put out a video that I just made last week where, so our company, Experienced Associates, we in the last 3 quarters now is for truck drivers on the EB-3 visa, we have the most PERM approvals in the whole United States. So, we are someone who's been experienced in this and have done it quite often. And you can look at the approval ratings. We're getting, most of them are approved. There's a few denials, but that's the rarity. And there's some withdrawn, which is just because life circumstances change for some people, and all of a sudden they can't come over, because we deal with a lot of overseas guys that are going to have to go through the consulate process. Lazar, your situation is different. You're in the U.S. We'll be doing an adjustment of status process with you, which is different than the international process. But you do want to make sure that who you're working with, that it's not a scam, that they know what they're doing. And usually there's some ways to test that. If someone asks you for $25,000 up front, I would be very leery of spending that much money on the upfront with somebody that you don't know for sure who has done this a lot. You should also be interviewing with the companies. Lazar, you're lucky you're with a company that's paying really well. They're treating people really well. We know that they're a good company. But I've heard of other stories where they didn't even interview with the company. And that I don't think that would be a good situation, where you don't know the company and the company doesn't know you. Why are they loyal to you? Why would they go through being a petitioner for you as an employer if they don't even know you? And that's where I worry about the bad companies that essentially are going to make someone a slave to them while you're waiting for your green card, because it takes so many years to get. And so you can't leave. If they're your sponsor, you can't leave them until that green card's filled. So you need to make sure it's a good company, and that's really important.
Right. Let me add, Chad, to your suggestion as well. Lazar and Boyan, my experience, right, working with many lawyers in America and many people in my community, I preferred immediately to do Zoom consultation, right? 15 minutes face to face from a first stop, right? So in this case, you will build a relationship. I introduce many people in Canada and Mexico, right? I say, let's meet immediately in a Zoom. You will see my face.
Yeah.
Look, you will see my lips. You will see my office, right? You will see Jonathan. Jonathan, come here for 1 second. You will speak with Jonathan after that. In this case, people say, oh, cool. Okay, great. Here's Jonathan. Come in.
Hi.
Yeah, this is a Jonathan who's only for
Hi.
language. So he helping to our Russian-speaking drivers as well.
Maybe 5.
Yeah, 5, yeah. Yeah, to communicate, right? And after speak with Jack. So this is what I suggest, Lazar and Boyan, to you community as well. And we are open. 15 minutes, face-to-face, and after we can explain further.
Yeah. And Lazar, that you bring up Jack Vitale. Like Jack is on my team, who's following up with guys. Lazar, have you had success? Like, if you need to reach out to Jack for something, is he responsive? Does he call you back? How has that been good?
Yeah. So far, yeah, everything okay. Everything okay. He answered. If he does in the moment, he texts and later he called me back.
Yeah. So you really do want to have someone that is going to answer your questions when they come up. Yeah, good relationships. So, well, Lazar, anything else that you'd want to add about any of the process? Anything else that you think is important for people to know?
For me, it's I just want to, let's say, bring back a little bit. It's let's say long process, but sometimes it's worth it to you try it and do it, and not everyone should get scared of being a truck driver. You know what I mean? If you drive a truck, it's not gonna be something like block you. You know, either way you're on the road. You know, somehow uh, you're gonna be a company driver. You know, at the end of the day, you need to work for someone. You know, to drive, to make experience and do the things. You know, somehow it's sometimes the stuff it's more great.
Yeah. And what I would say on the length of the program, it does take a while. But I will say that might be a benefit. And the reason I say that is because there are so many visas available every year. And if it was a really short program and it didn't take much work to do it, everybody would do it.
Yeah.
Right.
Which then all the visas would run out pretty fast and you'd have a backlog even more than we have now. So sometimes the advantage, because it's harder, because it does take a while and it's a harder situation, it's harder for even for the employer, for the guys that are offering the job, for them to wait this many years for the process to be done. It's even hard for the employer.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're willing to go through the hard means that it's actually valuable. Hard things usually are valuable, and valuable things are usually hard. So I think there is a benefit that it is harder and it takes longer because only so many people are willing to do that. And that means that there's visas available too.
Right. I'm not sure how many visas are available for each EB category each year, but I believe there is EB1 to EB5. I believe 5 category. I'm not sure how many visas are available for each category in a year.
Yeah, it's actually, so for all employment-based visas, it's over, I think it's over 160,000 per year that's available. But then there's limits. So if you have less than 2 years of experience, which would be an EB-3 other category, that category is limited to 10,000 visas per year. The EB-3 skilled, they get the leftovers from EB-1 and EB-2 as well as a percentage. So if there's leftovers, it's good. And then every country also is capped. So only so many people from every country can come. So like if you were from China or India, you're going to wait 23 years because there's so many people from China and India. But Macedonia, Serbia, they're not hitting their limits. You know, South Africa, they're not hitting their limits. So there's still availability per country. So
there is a backlog, I believe, and when you mentioned the Indians and Chinese here full population, I believe there is 1.2 or 1.3 million people waiting on EB-3 Indians from Indian side.
Yeah, it's taking them as much as we feel it's a long process, Lazar, if we think 3 years is really long, well, go talk to an Indian or
They go
someone from
in
China.
Canada,
Yeah,
they go
yeah.
in Canada a lot.
Yeah, they go somewhere else, right? That's exactly what happens. They don't get to the U.S. usually. So, well, good. Boyne, did you have any
Have
questions
some
or anything that you
questions.
want to follow up
Yeah,
on?
yeah.
Yeah.
First, let me ask Lazar, how much experience do you have before you start process EB-3?
Yes, yes. I've been have like almost 1 year full before,
Mhm.
and I just started with this company after when I make a year of the experience
So
in
1
this
year is
company.
minimum. Okay. And tell me,
Yeah, yeah.
did you get green card yet, or you're still waiting for the process? How long
Still
is the
waiting for the process
how long is the process? They're gonna
for
ask,
employment.
Yes.
Yeah, for the employment process. When I started, it's been like 18 to 24 months.
Mhm.
But we're already in US. Somehow maybe should be so
Faster.
let's say some speed up because we're how before mentioned Vitali and from the experienced associate we should be like let's say getting faster because we're like adjustment of status here, we don't
Mhm.
need to go consular process.
Yeah.
And
There is differences on that, Boyne. So, consular process, you for sure will have an interview with an officer. Adjustment of status process, you might have an interview. It's not always required, so it depends on case by case.
Right.
And the other thing that Lazar brought up is, yeah, a year of experience is a minimum. 2 years is ideal, although right now it's not a difference. And the reason why I say that, 2 years of experience is an EB-3 skilled worker visa. Less than 2 years is an EB-3 other worker. So they consider unskilled, but you still know what you're doing.
Mhm.
They have different timelines for each one of those categories. Right now, the timeline is exactly the same for both of them. But that could change where they would prioritize EB-3 skilled, and that could be even faster than the EB-3 skilled other. So it depends on what happens with the government. Unfortunately, you can't predict with the government, and you can't really trust the dates that they're going on because when you look at things like the visa bulletin, you will see it'll say the same month, same year, same month, same year for 4 months in a row. And then all of a sudden it'll change 6 months, slower or faster. Or the most recent one was the
Right.
EB-3 other. All of a sudden it changed a whole year. It went backwards a year. So you really don't know month to month what you can trust from the government until you get to that point where your date is ready to go and they're going to give you a visa. I even had guys, and this is why it can cause problems. I had consular guys, overseas guys. In June, they had their interviews. They got approved. The officer said, "You're good to go. You're going to get your visa." And then 2 weeks later, they retrogressed the dates and said, "Sorry, you're not going to get your visa yet." And now they got to wait. So even though they even had their interview and they got approved, the government's going to make them wait even longer for that visa availability. So it's hard to predict. And that's probably the hard part. You have to be willing to go through the
that's for the
unpredictability.
international, still for
Mhm.
international guys.
Yeah.
I know one
But
guy.
that can also
Mhm.
happen for adjustment of status guys too, where you don't know the length of time that it's actually going to take. It could get faster and it could get slower and it could bounce back and forth. And so that is the hard part is you're still dealing with the government and they don't really tell you exactly what's going on all the time.
But Chad,
Right.
tell
Right.
me, it's maybe a faster process for the guys who is already in US for the green card interviews. Is that faster for them, or is same for international and them who is already in US?
It depends on the interview dates and the priority dates and the final action dates from the government. So it could be faster. It also could slow down at any point. COVID and Corona, they blame things on COVID still that, they're short staffed. And so then things slow down. And so it really is supposed to be the same length of time because it's based off of the first, big government paperwork that we fill out for the employer is getting their prevailing wage determination. So it's basically telling the government, we want to hire somebody in this job, in this area of the country. And the government comes back 6 months later and says, yeah, you can hire them, and you have to make sure that you pay them at least this much. They say there's a minimum amount of pay you have to give this truck driver. After they have that, you can fill out the 9089 form, which is the Department of Labor PERM application. What's important is when you file that, because that filing date becomes your priority date for when they will give you your visa. Not when they approve it, when you file it. So that's the important piece there from a timeline standpoint. And then, there's another form after that, the I-140 with the U.S. Citizen and Immigration Services. So there's more steps, but that 9089 is where it really solidifies your date in your queue for when that's going to happen.
A couple of questions for Lazar. They're gonna ask how much you're going to be paid cents per mile. Our community gonna ask that how much money you make per week, usually.
Right.
Approximately.
Right. I was paying 60 cents per mile. I was paying full miles, empty and loaded. Maybe in the future the company gonna give us maybe 65, but not sure about that. I don't want to say about that. But for the start, the company offer us 60 cents per miles. Let's say because we are like for 1 year experience, and
Dedicated.
and another guy who I already meet from Africa on the program, and he's also on the same thing like me. Maybe someone who's gonna be with let's say 2 years plus experience. Maybe they can offer them much. Not sure about how that gonna go. And about the pay, like I said previous, it's depends how many miles you're gonna drive, where you're gonna go, where you're gonna make the reset, or you're gonna be home. It depends where you get it, where is your area, how they're gonna find load start of the weekend. Maybe you're gonna run today 200 miles, tomorrow 500 miles. Never know about that. You're not able to plan that one, because they're the market, they're so on the price how the company prefer to take that load, how the company is okay with that price, what the broker posted, and get after that.
I think the headphone is disconnected, or maybe microphone. Just check, please, because we don't hear you that well. Maybe it's disconnected. Now it's better, huh?
Now, okay.
Yeah, now it's better. Yeah. Sorry.
No, I think it's still disconnected. Sounds different.
Still, huh?
Mm-hmm. Battery went out.
Yeah. So dry van equipment usually, and the drop and hook dedicated lanes. So that's much faster, for drivers. They don't need to wait, loading, unloading, that stuff.
Yeah, and while Lazar's doing his battery, I'll say the other thing is we have more than one employer. So not everybody's going to go to only one. So like Lazar's situation on his pay and what the situation might be could be completely different than another employer. So what I usually tell anybody who's interested in the program is, because they'll start asking about pay and benefits and what's going to happen. And it's like, well, it depends on where you're going to work. And the best way to get that information is, let me set up you with an interview with the companies that you might work for, and you can ask them directly. That way you're getting it right from their mouth on what the pay and the situation is going to be, and all those questions, because they're important questions. But I also they change too. Not the companies don't always update us if they change their pay, and so from one week to the next it could be higher. Or I have in this freight market, I've actually heard of other companies where all of a sudden the pay goes down, and they're like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to find you drivers for 55 cents a mile.
Sorry guys, about my headset.
I know it's better, yeah.
Yeah.
And Chad,
Well,
could
good.
you please question?
Yeah.
A couple of them, they asking me because they already have families, So if they start process, also and for Vitaly question, if they start process EB-3, can they sponsorship like spouse or husband or wife or kids
Yeah. It's about
who already live in the States and international? It's different or a microphone.
mine.
Yeah.
Mine is not working.
No.
How about now?
No, it's
There we
okay.
go.
Yeah.
Spouses are able to be on the program as well as unmarried children under the age of 21. So there, so there is a question on age. The problem with age is technically children can age out of the program. So they have to get their green card and everything before 21. The only thing that gets added on to that is, I mentioned the USCIS process, the I-140. The I-140 is a pending time that doesn't count against the age of the child. So what that means is right now an I-140 on average is taking around 8 months for the government to get approved. That at that 8 months pending time, the children's age basically stops. So technically your child could be 21 years old and 8 months if it takes 8 months for the I-140 to approve. But that is a hard cutoff. So what we've been saying for a lot of people is, look, if your child is over the age of 17, it's a gray area that they could still qualify because they should be under 21. But if the process gets longer, it could get close. If your child's over the age of 19, it's not happening. There's no way. It's not even a chance. So that's where it can be a hard thing for families to figure out. Now, obviously, there are family immigration processes that could happen after you've gotten your green card, but it's such a long process for those too that it's also very difficult. In some cases, I've said, hey, what if your son or daughter is going to be old enough? Could we find them a job where they would
sponsorship
where they would get sponsorship? That's another opportunity there. So yes, family can come across. The only things that are different on fees is there are extra visa fees per family member that they would have to pay. Like with the overseas guys, I'm trying to think if it's the same for everyone, but like the overseas guys, there is a $345 fee per family member. And then when they get their visa, it's another $220 per family member. So if they have a family of 6, they will need to pay some extra fees for government fees. We don't charge extra for doing the paperwork. So for putting them on the I-140 and there's 7 family members or there's 3 family members, we include them in that information. So like we don't charge extra for that. But there will be extra government fees that they'll have to pay later.
But
let me add to the chat. On my YouTube channel, we have interview with Dmitry, Ukrainian CDL driver who we start working like before even COVID 5 years ago. We introduced him to Mozilla Valley Transportation, and he came on green card. And after it's called follow to join application, he brought his son, I think 16 years old, and been receive a green card working for Mozilla Valley Transportation for 1 year. He relocated after in Chicago and pushes his own truck. He called me last year and he said, Vitaly, I would like to switch to W2. I'm already green card holder, but less headache. Help me to relocate in Seattle. So I found my real estate agent who was asylum seeker before and received a green card, right? She helped him to relocate in Seattle, and he placed his son, who already 17 and a half years old, in college, North Seattle. And now to invite him to our office, we sit down right here, and I did record for about an hour, and we chop. So now we have 6 different videos in Ukrainian/Russian language for all CDL drivers in my community. And he's still waiting for follow-up to join for his wife, who will receive master degree in Kiev, my city, in September. So probably this month, and after we can help if he decide to do application with us, follow to join, and or U4U, so she will come in US. So it's a different ways after the CDL driver receive a green card. Of course, family visa petition available all the time.
Great. We will put the link of your YouTube channel in description of there.
Yeah, and for green card holder, like man or woman, it's a current visa. The last application, we get approval in less than 5 months.
That's great. And one question for Chad, also international guys who is going to Swift. I know somebody, going over there. They get like work permit to come to US, and when they arrive, after 2 months they get green card. So they asking me because or they are family, family guys, they have kids. So if they apply with you, if they get green card until, I don't know, couple of months, can they go home time some period, or is this possible with that companies to visit kids?
Yeah, to be able to go back for family.
Yeah.
Typically we talk to the employers about this because it would be difficult to come over, you leave your family the whole time, and then, if they're not going to join right away. So with family for overseas guys, there's two different ways to apply for them. One is they're going to accompany them right away. So the family members are going to come with them within 6 months. It is considered an accompany. Or they do what Vitaly was talking about, follow to join, which is they're going to follow at a later date. In this case, it'd be more than 6 months later, and they can follow to join at any time. So with the companies, if we talk to the companies ahead of time and say, look, after 9 months or after a year, I'd like to be able to go back to visit my family, the companies typically have no issue with that because we've communicated it far in advance. They can plan for it. There's all that. And because you are a green card holder, you have the freedom of travel. You can go back to your home country and do that. In some cases, we have some families that are talking about their spouse accompanying them right away, getting their green card so that they can then go back to their home country to finish up all their dealings too. So they might come to the US, get their green card, and then go back to finish everything. So those are both possible that way. Yeah.
Right. And for my community, for my guys, when you're on TPS or U4U, you can apply for emergency travel document as well. So it's possibility. Of course, it's take about 13 months right now. But if you have a real emergency, we can do InfoPass immediately and local USCS and bring some approval, like from medical doctor, right? So USCS usually officer look into and can make decision and give 1 month emergency travel document immediately in, I can say 2-3 business days.
That's also good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The other thing with international guys, what we typically suggest is that their family doesn't come immediately because they're coming to the States. They're going to go to a CDL school. They got to complete that. That might take 5 or 6 weeks. Then they got to get to the employer's location. And then you would have to, if you had your family with you, you'd have to figure out where they're going to live. You know, the driver, you can live in the truck, right? Like that's not a big deal. But if you have wife and kids, not everybody's living in that truck. So it's easier to come over without the family and kids right away, go through all that process, figure out how to get a living situation set up, and then have your family join you within that first 6 months is ideal. So that would be the best way to do it. And what we do as the third-party agent is we are typically trying to work with the employer and try to work with local realtors to try to find housing too. So we will help with that piece of it. Housing is a problem everywhere. There's always a housing shortage and it's difficult to find, but we're going to try to step into that space to do that. And really, if you're talking long-term vision, because we're usually working with employers for a long time, multiple years of having guys come over, we might end up building our own housing to be able to accommodate that at some point. But right now, that doesn't exist.
This is my proposal going to Chicago, Serbian, US employers to build apartment complex next to my office, please.
Sure.
Yes.
I'm going to tell them.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Hey, Chad, is it possible? Some guys, they have teenage kids, and they don't want to come to US. They don't want to, leave the friends and school and
Yeah.
maybe university. Is it possible to just truck driver scheme to don't sponsorship family or just him and he can stay, I don't know, 3-4 months on the road and go 2 weeks, travel to back to Europe? Is that
Yeah,
possible?
it would be possible. You'd have to set it up with the employer. I mean, we have one gentleman who, right, his family's back in Washington, Vitaly, right? And that employer is actually I think he's out for 4 weeks at a time, I'm guessing. And then they fly him back to Washington. So he's out 4 weeks and then he'll go home for a week and fly back and forth. I mean, obviously it's harder with international travel because it takes so long to get back over. So your extra days just for travel. But I don't think there's an employer who wouldn't be able to negotiate, hey, if I stayed out 6 weeks at a time or 8 weeks at a time, could I then have an extended time off? Most employers are going to say, yes, we can figure out what is going to work. So, and we have that quite a bit actually. Like, so I'm dealing with a lot of South African guys coming over to the States, and there's enough of them that it's memorable that they're not bringing their families. They're coming over here. They're going to get their green card, and their families are not on the application. And that might seem, if anybody that's a U.S. citizen listening to this might seem weird, but the idea of being a migrant worker isn't uncommon in other parts of the world either. So it's just the way things are.
You're right. Couple for the Lazar, couple of questions. So you're certified with company, and tell us how is trucking life, in US. So I have a couple of people, they never drive trucks, and they just come, they just asking me, hey, I wanna come, drive box truck or something like that, and after that go process with Vitaly and start with semi truck. Can you explain them how long is the truck, and how is US roads?
The truck, it's hard job up front. It's I mean, it's not for everyone, but if you decide to enter the industry, you're gonna learn a lot of stuff, and it's gonna be great thing at the end. And about the road here in US, it's great to drive truck. It's not like a Europe, you know. Here it's much easier than Europe, and it's a lot of opportunity in the trucking industry. Like many of the people, young age or old age, it's a good opportunity because of the paycheck and everything, and it's really good job.
Can you go in gym? Can you eat healthy something? And it's some people asking also that questions.
Sorry, what? Can you repeat again?
Can you go in gym, like gym to work out, and can you eat some
Yeah,
healthy on the road? Healthy
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Possible.
Most of the time, yes,
Yeah.
possible, yes. There is a. I see it. A lot of people, they are parking the truck at the gym. They are going. They do whatever you want. They just if they find, let's say, some great place before they unload or pick up. If there is like a between time, most of the people, they want to stop and enjoy the free time. Most of the gas station in US, they have like a bunch of things, you're gonna do for free times, just watch TV, playing something. There is a lot good things. There is in the a lot of state in a great cafeteria, what you're gonna stay for the day, or make like a couple hours in that. Just change the move, let's say, go out of the truck and do something else. It's a lot of opportunity what you want to do. it's
And
it's it's not like a home, it to be like a home, but it's great again.
if they have families, a couple of them coming with families, how long you stay on road and how much is your off time, in Chicago and to enjoy with family?
I was been on the road max 2 months, and I was go home Friday to Sunday, just like a 2 3 days. But independence, like before we mentioned, we're gonna get as much time as we like to get like a with family home, like a home time, independence how we'd like,
Oh yeah, depends on the person,
yeah,
That's
yeah,
what you want to
depends,
say.
yeah. Most of the when you mention family here, most of the people I see it on the road, they bring the wife, they bring the kids. Most of the time I see it, they just bring the kids with them, just the kids want to play, it's great,
They
on the
can
road,
travel and
they could,
explore the
yeah,
countries.
yeah, they gonna travel and see it, great things. Most of the people from my country and from Serbia and from the Balkan too, they also travel with the truck. Let's say go Miami, stop Miami for 2 3 days for the weekend, park the truck on the truck stop and go on the beach. Most of the people, let's say, go Texas, park the truck, travel, go downtown. Just you know many things. If you like, you're gonna do it.
And you have
Boyan ask if a company allowed to have animals in a truck.
pet friend.
Yes.
Yeah. Great.
Yes, most of the people what I see it on the road, they have animal, they have pets in the truck also, but I'm not sure if this company allowed pets or something like that. But let's say 70% to 80% in the US company are pet free. They are allowed whatever you want to do in the truck. Because the truck it's like your home. You're 24/7 in the truck. You're responsible for the truck, you're responsible for the job, and the company give you responsible for the truck. You are responsible to deliver it, the load, and make sure you're okay, the truck are okay, the truck not gonna break down, and everything else. If you cover that kind of thing, the company, most of the company allow you whatever you want to do with the truck.
Tell us
Just as far not hit the truck, not injure,
Not
not get
damage.
injured, not damage or not hurt someone. Whatever it's like a safe job. You're gonna do it. Just do it. Everyone to be happy at the end.
They asking also the internet connection, is it okay? I know it's 5G, I explained already. Does they need 3 or 4 providers like in Europe to switch the SIM cards, or you can use only one in whole countries?
I mean, independence on the state and independence on what kind of provider you're using. Sometimes for me, it's hard to get the GPS. Sometimes the GPS know to get out of work. And sometimes it's here in US it's difficult to you get on a low bridge. Because if you get on low bridge and you are 53 foot trailer, it's hard to make U-turn or do something like that. Sometimes you need to call the cops. They need to blow to block the road. You need to go reverse somehow in the safe space. You need to do like a U-turn, or you go make the
But
safe things.
usually most of the companies, they are close to the highway, it's
Yeah,
90,
yeah,
90,
yeah.
95%. Yeah.
Most of
So
the
it's
company are
easy
close to
in and
the
out.
highway and the interstate. And most of the, let's say, the pickup and delivery are close to the interstate and highway. But independence, there is a lot of because we carry like a drive-in, and drive-in, you sometimes you're gonna go in the city, and sometimes in the city, they're gonna make you go in the most tiny place. just to make it, and sometimes those it's like a very 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 hard time for us drivers, because most of those places what is tiny. Let's say I've been end up sometimes the door. I've been damaged the door because how I turn it. I just damaged the door. Just go around to find some shop to fix the door. I just get the rim damage. The rim damage. Wait, the road assistant to come to give you the another rim. Sometimes I just catch on the front of the gate the tire. I just damage the tire because sometimes it's so hard to
It's
make
tight.
turn. Because
I know sometimes.
because the truck what I drive, the cap between the truck and the trailer it's extended. Because sometimes if you are not able to make a good turn, you're gonna catch the truck and trailer between, and my truck and trailer it's like between space, and because of that space sometimes it's hard for me to make that turn, because before I was being damaged the door, and to two or three reach the tire and
That's happening. So the business is
Sorry
like
about my
that
sorry
in the
about
first 2 years.
my headset. I got some problem about that. I don't know what's happened.
Yeah, and
Or
in the
how,
first
how
1 or 2
about
years.
tickets? Ask about tickets. Who will take care of speeding tickets for the drivers? Does Lazar become already a legal shield member or what?
Lazar doesn't know because he never speeds.
No speed.
Tally.
No speed tickets are spinning. Oh, microphone is problem. Okay. So Vitaly, you can help with tickets, right?
Actually, I'm a member of Legal Shield for like 18 years. The Legal Shield cover Canada and US for all drivers. Instead, flight to Miami, like Lazar doing sometimes, right? Hire attorney, right? And membership right now for CDL drivers, I think like $52 per month.
Yeah.
Cover all 2 countries. So I keep begging and teaching my community, pay membership, and attorney will represent you in court. Why you have to spend 2 days flying back and forth, right? And after fee for the court, all this stuff, you will lose like 2,500 minimum.
That's correct. Yeah.
So I preferred to place with Legal Shield. It's a great membership,
Oh, yeah.
right? And they will take care of you nationally.
I hope so. Nobody get ticket, but it's part of the job. What we can do.
My Russian and Ukrainian guys, they came from Europe. They try to speed up, and I'm seeing on a highway here on I-5 in Seattle, the truck is going on a line number 3 next to carpool
That's me.
and doing 72, 75. I say, crazy man. Let me go right and speed up and wait to him.
Good.
I know, but it's different in Europe. It's no. They need to use only right lane. No.
Same here.
No left.
Same here.
It's supposed to be. It's supposed to.
But most of the driver are in rush time sometimes, and we use like express lane.
I know. Me too.
But most of the people what I know out of Chicago, they are getting like a lot easy ticket, in the first lane, because you're holding back the traffic, and for that reason the cop is gonna pull you over and give you some citation or violation, something like that.
Another piece, boy, and I forgot my Russian guy, CDL, his mom from Russia sent him a bag of vitamins. So he opened all vitamins and placed all of them in one bag. So State Patrol stopped him about 6 a.m. and they placed 2 dogs in cab to sneak. And he was like resurrected in the grass,
Yeah.
right? for 2 hours until they find out it's just Russian.
It's just
white.
vitamins. It's just vitamins, not drugs.
My suggestion for your community as well: don't take all these caps, labels, and place together. Keep it everything together in your cap.
Also, one
Even it's and if it's a Serbian vitamins or Macedonian vitamins,
Right.
doesn't matter. Keep together. Show to the state patrol. It's a real vitamins.
That's
we have one
I-
my friend use the caffeine, and it's for the headache, and he just drink the medication, and he have accident after that, a couple of hours. He go do drug testing and alcohol, and he was on SAP program. He never used drugs, but it's from another country, they have something inside. So
Right.
Right.
How about poppy seeds? This is another problem for my community because all Russian/Ukrainian stores, they actually sell nice poppy seeds inside. When you get it for the lunch and after doing drug tests, you will be banned for 3 business days minimum.
oh,
Yeah, lots of people doesn't know about. I'm not sure if you taken Russian food or no.
I never tried.
Yeah, it's a nice tasty and this is sweet pastry, but poppy seeds inside.
Oh, see,
right.
things you
But
would never think of.
better to stay clean than you have some trouble, because if you get in the subsystem, I believe, I don't know how is. I'm clean for us, I know, and I believe the subsystem is 6, 7, maybe more stage to you pass, and I believe
nobody
if
can
even
hire
if
you.
you
Yeah.
no one can hire you, and after that, even if you pass that SAP program, no one after that willing to hire you, because once you been in let's say in the sub program, no one able to give you, let's say, 70, 80, or $100,000 truck, to put you on the road, to risk, because there is a lot suicide on the road, there is a lot accident, but most of the accident what happen on the road, there's the truck somehow it's in everything involved, the truck it's in everything involved, and the cop blame the most of the time the truck, because the truck is like a professional driver, even if the car sometimes cut us up the front of the road, we're still wrong, because we're like a professional drivers, because the car don't know the rule how is, the car don't know how much space they need to leave, because most of the accident happen the car entering from the highway, just from the exit, they drive like at 25, 30 mph per hour, because that one it's so hard for truck, because most of the truck, let's say, drive 70 in the back, and they are loaded, let's say, 44,000 pounds for the load. It's hard to stop, couple of the months before I was been drive the containers with the chassis. Those one was been oversized. I've been and oversized and overweight. I've been like overweight like 10,000 pound, sometimes 10,000 pound. It's so hard to drive, because I've been half on that chassis like a multiple axle, and it's hard to make turn, because on the back it's like a 18 tires, it's a multiple axle, and sometimes like that type of heavy equipment load, you have a hard time to stop, you're gonna smoke the brake. If you smoke the brake, you're gonna get the whole trailer and suspension down there on fire, and after that you're in big trouble, if the insurance not gonna pay that trailer, you end up paying that 40, $60,000 trailer, and just the trailer, I don't want to mention the equipment what is inside, sometimes you're gonna drive, let's say, most expensive equipment, but most of the car drivers what are on the highway or interstate, not getting responsible for that. They just say they are just truck. They just gonna stop and just hard to reach the speed. I'm gonna just cross by. But most of the accident happen like that.
So be safe, guys.
Gotta be safe. Well, Lazar, I know we've kept you from driving for quite a bit of time right now, and I want to be able to let you get back on the road. So thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing your story, letting guys know what is reality and what is fake. And, you don't want to work with, like you said, the jokers in the world.
Right.
So I really appreciate you stepping into this and letting us hear all of this. Thank you.
Right. I mean, the truck industry is a great opportunity for everyone, but like I said, there is a lot of problem what you need to deal every day. It's like I said before, it's not the truck for everyone. Sometimes, let's say you need to stay on the road, let's say for 8 weeks, maybe more than 8 weeks. It's a hard and lonely job. But at the end of the day, everything works. Everything it's get paid back.
Great. Thanks so much.
All right. Thank you,
Thank you,
Lazar.
Vitaly. Thank you, Boy, and thank you for everybody
Thank you, guys.
being on the call.
Okay.
Great.
Thank you.
So much, Bonia and Chad. Lazar, be well, please. Have
Be
a
safe.
holy talisman. Have a holy talisman in your glove box, please.
Thank you for the time, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Take care.
Thank you.